Catch the new show tonight on Yuba-Sutter.live for your information with an update on the Marysville Ring Levee.
Tom Engler, MBK Engineers. Going back to 1986, we had the big 86 flood.
You'll learn the history of Yuba County's levee repairs, where the money's been coming from, where it's been spent, the current status of the levees around Marysville, what's left to be done bringing the city of 12,700 people 200-year flood protection, and why that's important for Marysville development. The Marysville Ring Levee Update. A portion of the Yuba Water Agency meeting from Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. On our new show, For Your Information, on Yuba-Sutter.live. Presented by Comfort Keepers of Yuba-Sutter and Nevada Counties.
Yuba-Sutter.live. It's the truth that comes through. Yuba-Sutter.live. It's the truth that comes through.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
National champions of the Project Manufacturing 2025's Class of Trade competition. So if you gentlemen would like to meet me up at the podium, we'll present the proclamations. Got a few things to read here, and then when I'm done reading them, we'll allow any comments from anyone in the group that would like to make one, and then the rest of the board will come down and congratulate you, and we'll take some pictures. So that's how this will work. So we've got two proclamations and a certificate of recognition. So we're going to start off with the first proclamation, which is for the college itself. Board of Supervisors proclamation celebrating Yuba College's Advanced Manufacturing Program. Whereas Yuba College opened its doors in 1927 and offers classes in over 90 programs, providing quality education to the residents of Yuba-Sutter to prepare for a certificate, 2-year associate degree, or transfer to a 4-year college. And whereas Professor Joseph Bauer has led the Yuba College Advanced Manufacturing Program for the past 10 years, and whereas the program offers training in manual machining, computer-aided design, computer numerical control programming, as well as multiple other courses. It's focused on providing real-world training, giving students technical knowledge and competence and experience to thrive in the industry. And whereas beginning in the fall of 2024, a 3-student team consisting of Wyatt Curry, Adam Davis, and Phoenix Farrell participated in the Project MFG Advanced Manufacturing Competition, a prestigious and highly competitive tournament that highlights the skills learned as part of the program at Yuba College. And whereas the team made it to the top 4 in the nation, qualifying for the National Championship Class of Trades in June 2025, the team placed first, winning the championship title and a grand prize of $100,000, and throughout the competition exhibited efficiency and a positive spirit. And whereas we recognize instructors Joseph Bauer and Dan Turner's efforts to build a program designed to help students develop the skills needed to succeed in their chosen profession, now, therefore, the Yuba College Board of Supervisors commends and congratulates the Yuba College Advanced Manufacturing Program on their outstanding achievements at the 2025 Class of Trades competition. Here we go. We also have a proclamation specifically for Joseph Bauer. Board of Supervisors proclamation honoring Professor Joseph Bauer Yuba College Advanced Manufacturing Program. Whereas Professor Joseph Bauer has provided inspiring leadership to Yuba College's advanced manufacturing students, preparing them with technical and professional skills needed to succeed in high-stakes competition in industry careers. And whereas Professor Bauer guided the Yuba College team of Phoenix Farrell, Adam Davis, and Wyatt Curry to first place in 2025 National Project MFG competition, a Department of Defense sponsored national competition designed to raise awareness of America's skilled trades. And whereas under Professor Bauer's mentorship, the team excelled through multiple rounds of competition, beginning with 60 teams nationwide, advancing through intense regional contests at Bridgeland Technical College in Utah, and ultimately triumphing at the national finals at Southwest Illinois College in Belleville, Illinois. And whereas the Yuba College's team victory brought national recognition to the college's advanced manufacturing program and secured $100,000 in prize funds, with half directly reinvested into the program and half awarded to the student champions. And whereas this national accomplishment not only elevates Yuba College, but also contributes to the broader regional economy, as manufacturing represents a significant portion of workforce in Yuba and Sutter counties and generates multiple effects across industries. And whereas Professor Bauer has been instrumental in building Yuba College's manufacturing capacity over the past decade, helping secure advanced equipment, developing a culture of excellence, and fostering student success in both competition and careers. His dedication, vision, and leadership embody Yuba College's mission to prepare students for rewarding careers while advancing innovation in career education. Now, therefore, the Yuba County Board of Supervisors recognizes Professor Joseph Bauer for his extraordinary leadership and extends deepest appreciation for his ongoing commitment to student success, workforce development, and the advancement of skilled trades education. So, you? And then I've got 3 certificates here. I don't remember from the show which one of you is which, so when I read your name, you can just come on up. So first we have presented to Wyatt Curry in recognition as the team lead CDC programmer and machinist. So, Wyatt? No? Okay, great. And next we have a certificate of recognition presented to Adam Davis in recognition as the team 3D printing technician. So, you. Last but not least, we have a certificate of recognition presented to Phoenix Farrell in recognition as the team mechanic. It was, I really enjoyed watching the show, and it was amazing to see how quickly and efficiently you guys worked. And so congratulations. It's huge for the college. It's huge for Yuba County, and it's tremendous for you guys. So very awesome. So I don't know if any of you would like to say any words.
Sure. This one work? Just thank you so much for the recognition. This is a long time coming. 10th year out at the college and just trying to do right by the community. We've grown a lot, and the level of competition is so tight. We were definitely punching above our weight class with some of the other technical colleges. So I'm just super happy to bring this back to the community and for the program and for these folks. The students, the amount of work that they put in was just incredible. So thank you for your recognition and support.
I'd also like to recognize that both these gentlemen graduated from Marysville High School. And although it's across the river, Joe graduated from Yuba City High School. So these are local kids, and Wyatt's from Wheatland. So these are local kids doing great, tremendous things. So it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to come into a community that's so proud of their heritage and establish a legacy that's hopefully going to be built upon in years to come.
We'll step over to the Yuba County sign, and the rest of the board can join us, and we'll do so.
Oh, thank you, our administrator. Yes, but you guys in the front. Yeah, I think you're turning a little bit to the side, then we will stay down. Okay, great. Everybody has more colors.
making sure it's captured. Thank you. There you go. Okay, great job. It's all good. My group was going to learn. It's either the pre my master. Go back up. Have it all environment. So if you don't know doctor, it's going to be ready to program. It's like a whole other thing. Program. We rolled up there and rolled up there. See you live. There you go. And you know, it's separate. So I want to thank you. And if he needs artists, I need to all right. Now we know each other. Good. I'm perfectly familiar. Yes, find out. Great. Now they come out. Yeah, that was the one show. Okay.
Take the shortcut.
Yeah, it was. I did that in Clint Davis for 3 years. They see it. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Okay, our next special presentation will be a proclamation to 4-H of Yuba and Sutter counties recognizing October 5th through 11th, 2025 as National 4-H Week, and this will be presented by Supervisor House. So if we could have the folks representing 4-H join Supervisor House up at the podium, please.
All right. So these are our 4-H ambassadors of Yuba and Sutter County, or a couple of them. I think there's one or two more. But very excited to present this to you today. The work you do with other youth and promoting great behavior and excellence, academic excellence, and health and safety of our youth is huge. So I'm very happy to present this to you. All right, Yuba County Board of Supervisors proclamation honoring National 4-H Week, October 5th through 11th, 2025. Whereas this year's National 4-H Week theme, Beyond Ready, reminds us that 4-H is building a ready generation in a world of change and equips young people with skills for the future while meeting them where they are today. And whereas 4-H is America's largest youth development organization, supporting 6 million youth across the country. And whereas 4-H programs are delivered by the Cooperative Extension System, a community of more than 100 public land grant colleges and universities across the nation that provide experiences for young people to learn by doing. And whereas 4-H is in every city and county in the United States and helps 6 million youth become engaged, successful, and independent, and connects young people and adults to their communities, preparing them for work and life through experiential and inquiry-based learning while providing emerging research for positive youth development. And whereas expanding from its strong agricultural roots, 4-H helps young people explore the world around them and grow into productive adults. And whereas Yuba County 4-H youth and volunteers actively contribute to the community through service, learning projects, leadership development, participation in bi-county events, such as the Yuba-Sutter Fair, club officer training, county 4-H presentation day, county fashion review, and community service days. And whereas supporting future leaders in science, agriculture, and community leadership is imperative for the United States Department of Agriculture, National Institute of Food, and Agriculture 4-H program. Here's the last part. Now, therefore, the Yuba County Board of Supervisors does hereby proclaim October 5th through 11th as National 4-H Week throughout Yuba County and encourages all citizens to recognize the significant impact 4-H has made and continues to make by empowering youth with the skills they need. Thank you. You ladies have anything to say?
I'm Olivia Sal. I'm a Yuba-Sutter County Ambassador.
And my name is Aubrey Hunt, and I'm also a Sutter Yuba 4-H County Ambassador. On behalf of Yuba County 4-H, we would like to sincerely thank the Yuba County Board of Supervisors for recognizing National 4-H Week with this proclamation.
Your support helps highlight the importance of youth development, leadership, and community service in our county. Yuba County 4-H has 6 clubs with over 200 members and 60 volunteers. We are grateful for your continued encouragement for our 4-H members and programs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So please join us under the Yuba County logo over there for some pictures. Any parents or staff want to get involved too?
No, I think the county charges too much for rent.
Announce your conflict.
I need to leave.
Oh, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, you have a. We usually don't, take public comment on presentations, right?
Oh, yeah, not yet.
Yeah, okay, no, there was a public comment. Okay. So next, we are going to move on to present a certificate of recognition to the Historic Resources Commission, and I believe the sheriff's going to be presenting this, so if everyone involved could come on up. Good morning, Sue. Morning, Sheriff.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, members of the board. So as you said, we are just here to recognize and say a big thank you to Sue and the Yuba County Historic Resources Commission. Several months ago, I got a question I couldn't answer, and it kind of bugged me, is what if I was the 28th or the 29th sheriff of Yuba County, and I wasn't sure. The records weren't clear from what we could tell. So my assistant, Tina Beeler, reached out to Sue and posed the question, and she came back with a response. And I just want to say thank you so much. I'm not going to read this. I'm going to give you the time. But thank you so much. And undoubtedly, the record is now clear. So thank you. I'll turn it over to Sue.
Well, it wasn't that easy. We spent several months vetting who the sheriffs were. So in 1850, there were actually 3 sheriffs. Mr. Twitchell served for 2 weeks because the job was too hard. And so Mr. Moore came on and served 7 days because it was too much work. And so Robert Buchanan was appointed. We didn't even have an election for 1850. So there's 3 gentlemen that served that year. But all total, there were, it's very confusing because some of these gentlemen served more than 1 term. So are you counting Sheriff Anderson's number as by the person or by the term? So this is Roberta D'Arcy, Vice Chair of the Commission, who helped with this project, and Jacob Edwards, who's busy working in your surveyor's office now. So I just wanted to tell you in researching this, some of these gentlemen were very interesting. Mr. Daniel Donahue came here as a 49er. And he opened, first he was up at Sucker Flat and did gold panning. And then he opened a store of all things at Parks Bar, which promptly burnt down. So he moved to Marysville and opened 3 saloons. But then he ran for sheriff, probably to protect his interest in the community in more ways than one. So we have many, many stories that we found about the sheriffs through this time. However, they weren't very popular, and so there's not a lot of information about them. But we did vet all of these different sheriffs. So where did Sheriff Anderson go? I wanted to answer his question of how many sheriffs there actually were. There you are. So it's the wrong card. Sorry, I contacted a really, really bad cold. So from 1850, the first 3 sheriffs were appointed. In 1851, we had our first election, and I verified that with the clerk of the board. And Mary helped me at the Board of Supervisors through your minutes. And then several of the elections, they served for more than 2 or 3 years. So actually, in honor of our past sheriffs and for your honored hall that you have, if you gentlemen and lady have not visited the Sheriff's Department, you need to go see their hall of honor and the pictures that we found. We're still missing 7, so we're going to try to find those. With the internet being what it is today, sometimes you can find these old things from the 1850s and 60s. So if you count by the person, you're number 27. But some of them served, but they served 29 different terms. So you can take that for what you want. These have been vetted and everything. So thank you so much for asking us to do this project. And we're very honored that now you have a complete list that's been vetted and verified that you know. And some of these sheriffs are still serving. They're resting in our Pioneer Cemetery and still looking over the citizens of Yuba County. And in recognition of our 175th anniversary, we thank you for your leadership and continue to take care of our county and us, and hope you make history that we can record too.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to be the sheriff, and I think, history and tradition are rich here in Yuba County, and I thought that we should set the record straight, and who better to do that than both of you. So thank you so much. Hopefully we can find those pictures that were missing and finish that project. But thank you so much for your hard work and your dedication to the folks of Yuba County, and token of our appreciation.
And I wanted to thank the board. You just honored Yuba College, and I want to remind you that the monument that we put up several years ago of the Japanese Internment Center, which is the only monument in the United States here in Yuba County, was done by the Yuba County Department. Mr. Tucker here to that. Mr. Turner. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Awesome. Okay, next up, we have item 433, 2025, received presentation from the Measure K Citizens Oversight Committee regarding fiscal year 24-25 annual report.
Good morning, board. My name is Fred Morozinski, and I'm the somewhat reluctant continuing chairman of the Oversight Committee. It's been a pleasure to serve these many years. I'm pleased again to be here this morning for the purpose of submitting our 4th annual report from the Measure K Oversight Committee. The report, as in the past, contains information pertaining to the revenues and expenditures of the 1% sales tax generated by Measure K and the committee's conclusions regarding the use of this funding. Before going further, I'd like to the opportunity to introduce Richard Webb, our vice chairman, who is with us here today, our secretary, Lori Wojan, and our newest member, Randy Mitchell. Were not able to make it today, but I'd like to recognize their participation also in the committee. As you know, while the Measure K became effective in April of 2019 and revenues began to accrue at that time, Expenditures were delayed until fiscal year 21-22 when the funds were allocated by the board through the county budget adoption process. Your board and previous boards for many years have consistently prioritized public safety and the recognition of government's primary purpose, the protection of its citizens. Limited revenues, however, often constrain the board's desire to further enhance the goals towards those ends. Needless to say, a strong public safety system is the foundation for building a supporting a vibrant, viable, sustainable community. It's well-documented efforts to pursue economic growth, community development, enhanced educational opportunities, and the like are thwarted by unsafe environments. Many jurisdictions in California and throughout the country, which had previously ignored this common sense reality, are now revising policies, legislation, and funding to enable safer cities and communities. And I think we all agree it's about time that that's happened. The voters and taxpayers of Yuba County, however, recognized this dynamic early on and supported the sales tax measure. The results of the board's allocations of these funds, which have led to a safer county, are evident in our robust economic growth, our housing sales, our business development. Since its inception, Measure K has generated revenues to date of approximately $55.5 million, with $11.1 million expended in fiscal year 24-25, and that was broken out with $8.4 million to the county and another $2.7 million allocated to the 9 independent fire districts in the county. Although Measure K is a general tax measure, the board's continued commitment to public safety, specifically law enforcement, fire services, essential public safety functions, and other essential supportive services, is reflected in the allocation of these funds. 80% of the revenues allocated are earmarked for the county specifically, supplementing existing funding to the sheriff's office, the district attorney, the probation department, other general essential services, including code enforcement and other supporting departments. A total of 20% of the revenues are distributed to the 9 fire districts within the county. Specific agency allocations are based on an agreed upon distribution formula developed by the districts themselves. Some recent statistics obtained from the sheriff's office show dramatic impacts derived through having the resources provided by Measure K to increase staffing. For instance, the marijuana eradication team of Yuba County, also known as METU, seized approximately 111,000 marijuana plants in 2024, which represented a 760% increase of the 14,600 plants seized in 2023. They also seized 55 illegal firearms in 24, and that was up from only seizing 4 firearms in 23. Likewise, the Sheriff's Department's problem-oriented policing and narcotics team, which is heavily supported through Measure K funds, made 116 arrests in 2024, which resulted in 2,225 pounds of methamphetamine, 27 pounds of cocaine, almost 15 pounds of heroin, and an amazing 31,500 fentanyl tablets. Those efforts kept those drugs from reaching users and wreaking havoc on the community. This outfit also seized approximately 63 illegal firearms, and there's just no doubt that these efforts have had a significant positive impact on crime reduction and the inevitable human casualties that are left in the wake of narcotics and gun violence. Similar positive impacts have also been realized by code enforcement, increasing substantially their activities, and for our fire districts, which have been able to acquire both suitable and safer equipment and facilities to better serve the citizens throughout the county as we face wildfire dangers and others. In summary, having conducted a comprehensive review of the fiscal reports detailing revenues and expenditures for Measure K for FY 24-25, the committee is of the opinion the board's actions are consistent with both the spirit and the letter of the measure itself and the implementing county ordinance. In closing, I'd like to take a moment to thank Kevin and his staff and Richard Erbel and his staff from the Auditor Controller's Office for their assistance to the committee, providing outstanding support during our review process, coordinating meetings, and assisting in the overall development of the detailed and informative report that you're presented with today. On behalf of the committee, we, the committee, also thank you for the opportunity to serve in a capacity providing transparency, accountability, and direct citizens' oversight regarding the implementation of this measure for the voters and taxpayers of the county. Thank you. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to respond to any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Morzinski. Does the board have any questions or comments?
Well, I have, through the chair, one comment is thank you very much for the report, and it shows that the board stands behind its original intent, and you're verifying that. And I think that's a problem the other side of the rivers have.
Well, it's commendable that you've done that. You know, the citizens of the county are rolling dice sometimes on these types of measures to the extent that the monies that are generated are used for the purposes in which they're intended. And again, the board's continuing support of law enforcement and the recognition that by doing that, we're going to have a safer community that's going to avoid the perils of crime, narcotics, illegal weapons, and code enforcement, doing all the things that are necessary to bring commerce and safety to the community. And we thank you for that. And we're just proud to have been participating and being able to take a look at that and confirm your actions. So thank you.
Through the chair, I'd just like to thank you too for not only the presentation, but for your dedicated time on the Oversight Committee. I know it's a thankless job after being on Trails Commission for I don't know how many years I was on Trails Commission. So people don't realize the effort and time you put into these things for really not much. And it's tough to fill the positions. I noticed you guys have one vacant position now.
We do. So we'll look forward to that being filled soon. And we thank you. It's a pleasure to serve. The support by the county has been outstanding.
Yeah. And I just also want to mention, because my district is 82% or 83% of the surface area of the county, my constituents have noticed a huge difference, especially in the hills, with having more deputies on patrol up there and the METU program and code enforcement. You know, even when they're not out enforcing codes, they're just picking up stuff along the road that people have dumped. So it's made a huge difference in the county.
Well, there's going to be some really hard numbers coming out too in terms of arrests and that kind of thing that have been prepared. They're a little convoluted because of the issues associated with COVID. And in fact, what's happened in many cases is that we've seen some decreases in the number of arrests. Sheriff's office certainly can speak to that better than I. But that really is the result of good enforcement and keeping the bad guys out. And so, again, it's been a pleasure. I thank you for your comments, and I'll look forward to presenting next year as well. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to echo what John had said to start with, is just thank you for the oversight position that you guys have taken. So it's Fred, Rich, Lori, and Randy. You guys are putting in quite a bit of effort to make sure that we're meeting what the county said we would do in the election process. And like Andy had said, that there's other agencies that don't have that much trust. And we thank you for the work you're doing and making sure that we're well represented and we're always doing the right thing. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we'll move on to public communications. Any person may speak about any subject of concern, provided it is within the jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors and not already on today's agenda. The total amount of time allotted for receiving such public comment shall be limited to a total of 15 minutes, and each individual or group will be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Prior to this time, speakers are requested to fill out a request to speak card and submit it to the clerk of the Board of Supervisors. And if you're on Zoom, you can use the raise hand feature. And please note that no board action can be taken on comments made under this heading. And if there are any public comments on special presentation items, we'll take those as well.
Through the chair, we do have one card, and it seems that we have no hands on Zoom.
Okay.
So the first person we have is Tony Farty.
Thank you for your service, Yuba County Administrator Kevin, also known as Chief Sachs. I like that. County Council, Majority graduate, I like that. It's good. Greg Bradford, it fellow Sacramentan. He's also nice. I saw his Facebook, like his Facebook. Hope someday we get that honorary stuff, hopefully. Work on it. And John Misk, the cowboy John Misk. I like him. Also Seth Fuller, the diversity and major tax law degree for his tax business. And Supervisor House, the 4-H Club. And last but not least is Andy Vasquez, the U.S. Marine Corps veteran, Vietnam, and Reserve Deputy. And also Kay Gisson, don't forget Kay Gisson. And also Clinton Curley, DA. William Aronson, Sheriff, Under Sheriff, the UC PD Sergeant, and Dr. Liu, don't forget Dr. Liu, the Harvard Dr. Liu, and Jennifer, don't forget Jennifer, and Sam, and also Rachel and Sarah. Thank you for your service, and thank you to Mary. Christmas gift is a prize for me, hopefully. So, thank you, County.
Thank you, Tony. Any additional comments in person or on Zoom? Okay. With that, we'll move into county departments. All matters listed under county departments are action items, which will be considered and voted on separately. And the first item is 485-2025, Community Development and Services, approve 5-year lease agreement with John Messick for hangar number 1 at the Yuba County Airport. And I believe there is a recusal for this item.
If I can get my microphone on. I'm going to recuse myself from this item, and I will go in the conference room.
Okay, we'll grab you after the item.
Good morning, Chairman Bradford and members of the board. My name is Jason Copping, and I work for the Community Development and Services Agency. And as was just expressed from the dais, I am here to answer any questions that the board may have about a hangar lease agreement with John Messick, who has recused himself. We are simply asking for you guys to review and approve the 5-year lease agreement and to authorize the chair to execute said lease agreement. Any questions from the board?
You're the chair. What's the current rate on a hangar in comparison to what it was prior to your arrival?
So I don't have the historical numbers memorized, but we have increased them over the last 4.5 years that I've been a part of the airport leadership team. Currently, the set of hangars that are in question, the subject hangar, the lease rate is $150 a month. There were 4 other lease agreements in consent. Typically, these are consent items. I, again, am here because it involves John Messick, who has recused himself.
Again, another question. Was the problem that we had with the FBO on there addressed?
So the FBO is still under the existing lease agreement that was put in place in 2015 and will terminate in 2045 and is actively being managed, and services such as fueling and other line services are being provided as expected.
Thank you.
All right. Any other board question or comment? Okay, any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second. Okay, we have a first from Supervisor Vasquez and a second from Supervisor House. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion passes. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Joe.
Next up, we will move on to item 495, 2025, Clerk Recorder, Register of Voters. Approve Amendment Number 2 to Agreement with Dominion Voting Systems to implement Democracy Suite 5.19 upgrade with annual firmware licenses and warranty, and extend the term to February 28th, 2034. Morning, Donna.
Morning. So we currently use the Dominion Voting Systems Democracy Suite voting system 510A. And just recently, the 5.19 system has been approved. So the 510A system has served Yuba County well. You can see it was certified in 2019. And it had a 510A approval in 2020. We have conducted elections from March of 2020 through November of 2025 on this system. We are working on that November 2025 right now on a very abbreviated timeline. In 2020, you'll see we also had a recount for the City of Marysville contest on that system. So the 519 system includes a system upgrade and a hardware upgrade. The hardware upgrade includes 48 ballot marking device printers, so the marking devices themselves would not be replaced. This would be the printers to accommodate some additional functionality, which we will go over. The 3 central scanning workstations, we have 3 currently at this time, so it's not an increase, it's just a replacement. 3 election management system servers, 3 server workstations, 2 adjudication workstations, and 3 monitors. Now, on the hardware, the printers that I mentioned, the enhancement that comes with those printers is we will have the ability to choose to print a different kind of ballot at the poll site. Currently, voters are presented with a ballot that has a summary of their choices and a QR code. And the tally system reads that QR code. But this would allow us to print ballots that resemble what we call the fill-in-the-bubble ballots that you typically would receive at your home. So the overall enhancements on the new system, they include user interface enhancements, additional transparency, and reporting enhancements. I have some screenshots here, please. This is just a highlight of some of the enhancements in the system, but I thought it would be helpful to see. So one user interface enhancement is on the scanning when the ballots are tallied. And what you see here is you can see it gives a much more clear than our current system summary of what batch is being counted, the total number of batches that have been accepted, the total ballots accepted. And then on the right, you can see a summary. That is the group, the batch currently being scanned, and a summary of the ballots and the status of that ballot. And that's something we have access to that information currently, but you can't see it as it's happening. This is additional transparency. It's a summary of the adjudication status. And so adjudication is after a ballot has been scanned, it goes through the adjudication system, and it looks for a set of what we call outstack criteria. which would be if a voter is entitled to vote for one contest, but they have marked two. So they have overvoted that contest. This would then be routed to the adjudication system, where trained staff would then view and make a determination, can voter intent be determined? Did the person simply fill in two complete bubbles and there is no distinction between the two where voter intent could not be determined? Or did the voter cross out one to indicate their proper choice? This is an at-a-glance summary of the status of those adjudication transactions. This is another adjudication enhancement, and it may seem very, very simple, but we will now be able to view the front and the back of the ballot at the same time. The ballot that we have here on this has a blank back, which is the same as the ballot we'll be using in November 2025. But very frequently, almost always, Yuba County typically has multiple cards and contests on the front and the back. And when determining voter intent, it is very helpful to see the front and the back of the ballot at the same time. We can see those now, but we have to switch screens back and forth. And so you're looking back and forth to see if there's a voter intent determination to be made. So we'll be able to view those at the same time. Some additional is as part of adjudication. They have increased the transparency for those viewing it to be able to see more clearly what is the contest of focus. And what that means is what contest is the adjudicator looking at this moment to determine voter intent. They also clarified on this example, you can see the green indicates what the voting system has identified as a valid vote. And if it would be yellow, it would be that there's something for you to look at, but it has not been identified as an actual vote. And if it's red, this ballot has been adjudicated to remove that contest, or that choice, I should say. There's enhanced reporting to go along. Again, that might be a little bit more of an internal. Currently, the reporting for adjudication is within the adjudication system. It is not within the centralized reporting system of the tally. And so this would move that into there. It would increase web accessibility compliance for some of the printed reports, allow them to be translated onto the web more quickly. There's also a dashboard view of the overall status of the election. And they've added some scheduled reporting options. Currently, there is funding available to cover this amendment as part of the state voting system replacement funds. Yuba County has an allocation of $203,905 remaining. Of that, $30,000 is earmarked strictly for a voter registration system. So it would not be eligible to be used to cover these costs. But the $173,359 is eligible to cover these costs. And this contract expires August 31st of 2026. So I'm here to ask the board to request your approval of the amendment to the voting system agreement authorizing the upgrade to Democracy Suite 5.19 with voting system hardware refresh. I do want to mention that if we sign the agreement at this time, there is the possibility that we would not be able to implement prior to June 2026 in direct relation to the statewide special election called that counties were lined up to implement, and they had to halt that implementation to be able to conduct this election. And so we are not currently in the queue. We won't be in the queue until the board approves the transaction. And then it would determine whether we could fit in prior to June 2026. But I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Questions or comments from board members?
No, thank you very much for the explanation.
You're the chair. Just a quick question. So the reason the extension needs to be till 2035 is because they pay grant allowances out per year and incrementally, or?
I'm sorry.
The reasoning for the extension till 2035 versus just a shorter period, is that because it gets repaid through a grant year by year? How?
The extension would just amend the duration of our contract, but the funding actually covers only the purchase. So it would cover that initial purchase of, I believe it's $134,000. And then the ongoing maintenance costs, those are costs that we currently incur. And these costs are they're in line with our current, because the first 2 years are part of an existing contract. And so the remaining years, there's kind of a standard, I believe off the top of my head, it's about a 5% increase each year, which is fairly standard. So those increasing costs would not be covered by the grant.
Okay, and then, so if any time before the 2035 marker comes up, if there's changes to the voting laws and we're able to do something different, we'd be able to opt out of this contract and pay a fee to opt out of the contract?
The terms, I believe
So it's 10 years. 10 years is a long time.
It's in addition to the 2 years, I believe it is a 7 add-on. It's through bear with me.
2034, February 28th.
You have that?
2034.
So through 2034 would be the last maintenance year on this. The contract itself, I believe, has a termination clause within it. And so if the county chose to end that, it would be under the terms of that contract. At this time, there are 4, I'm trying to think how far back that goes that I remember, but there's basically currently 4 vendors that meet this criteria. And to get certified into the system, it's a 2 to 3 year process. And so of those 4 vendors, 1 is not available to us at all. It's Los Angeles County. It's a system for Los Angeles County, but it's a certified system. And then the other 3 vendors are currently, there has only been 1 vendor added in the last, I don't know how many years.
Okay. I'm just asking because if things change in our state, political opinions change in our state, it's likely to affect voting in the future. So I don't want to be tied to something that's going to be.
So I understand what you're saying. This is the tally system. And depending on what changes are made, but the tally element will always exist. A lot of changes they talk about could impact vote by mail. They could impact, they are a number of new legislation on the desk of the governor at this moment that will have significant impacts on the election process. But it's consistent through all of them. The tally process remains. And that's really what this system is. This system isn't a part of the registration system, or it doesn't determine how we conduct those processes. It really is centered on tallying and counting the ballots.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question through the chair. Will this be a whole new machine, or is this just an upgrade to the machine we already have?
It's replacement hardware.
Okay.
They would bring in new servers. We're in Yuba. We have a less than ideal situation due to limited space. Our servers are mobile. We bring them over to the board chambers to tally election night to allow for the public to observe. And so that requires us to move the servers. They're in rolling racks, and we can't keep them on all the time. So that system has got a little bit more wear than would be under normal circumstances, but it would be completely replaced with new hardware.
And will the new one will you be rolling it in here?
Yes.
So you can observe as well? Okay.
We would absolutely not reduce visibility of the tally process at all.
Okay. For all of you guys that have never observed, I came and observed 3 years ago, and I believe I was the only one that was there to observe. So it's not a big crowd doing the observing. But it's great that you make that available to the public.
Thank you.
On the web accessibility part of it, there was some concerns in the past about the web accessibility being both ways and that results could be possibly affected from an outside source. Is that an issue with this or no, the web accessibility has to do with some other parameters and not with the counts?
It is not related to the counts. The web accessibility is actually for printed reports. So it it generates a PDF. And it's the formatting of this PDF is now more user-friendly for screen readers. Anybody who uses a screen reader, if you look at that report, what it looks like is the most basic word table you've ever seen with no flash or no accessories, but it does translate to screen readers much more cleanly.
Okay, and so it does not increase its accessibility for the tally count to an outside source to affect that?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, thank you, Donna.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next up is item 468, 2025. Health and Human Services approve student placement agreement with California State University, Sacramento for nursing, allied health, or social work student internship program for a term of 5 years.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. My name is Jessica Garcia, and I'm the Deputy Director for the Child and Adult Protective Services Division at Health and Human Services. Today, I'm here to request your approval of a student placement agreement with the California State University of Sacramento. This agreement allows nursing, allied health, and social worker students to complete their educational and clinical placements with within our county programs and facilities. Yuba County has a history of supporting student placements. We began this partnership back in 1987, and each year we host 2 to 3 interns from the surrounding universities like Sacramento State and Chico State. These internships have proven to be a valuable pipeline into our workforce. For example, the current CAPS program manager is Twyla Williams, and she interned with us 10 years ago through that placement, through her school placement, and also 2 of our supervisors right now in CAPS are also began their employment here at Yuba County through their placement. This agreement outlines the responsibilities of both parties. Sacramento State will provide students who meet all health, background, and training requirements and will coordinate their academic preparation and oversight. Yuba County will provide supervised training opportunities, orientation, and evaluation of students, ensuring that their placements align with program needs while maintaining high standards of confidentiality and professional practice. Students will be regarded as trainees and not employees. This partnership directly supports Yuba County's strategic plan. It advances our goals around workforce development by building a strong pipeline of trained professionals. It strengthens our collaboration through higher education partnerships and supports our ability to deliver high quality and responsive services to the community. There is no significant fiscal impact associated with this agreement beyond the staff time already dedicated to training and supervising interns. In return, the county benefits from additional support for service delivery and a stronger recruitment pool for future vacancies. I'm happy to answer any questions from the board with that background. If there are no questions, I respectfully request the Board of Supervisors to approve the student placement agreement with California State University, Sacramento, and authorize the chair to sign.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments from board members?
Through the chair, sounds like a really great program to incentivize people to actually come here and work for us. So it sounds like a great program.
Okay. Any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
You guys want to Rochambeau over it?
Go ahead, Brent. You can have it.
Okay.
The last one.
Great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Motion passes. Thank you. Next up is item 437, 2025, Community Development and Services, approve professional services agreement with AECOM Technical Service Incorporated to update the Yuba County General Plan and the Plumas Lake Specific Plan and related environmental documents for a term of 2 years. So, good morning, Rachel.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman Bradford, members of the board, Rachel Olson. I am one of your deputy directors from Community Development. I oversee both the planning and economic development teams. I am pleased to bring this item before your board today, which is, as Chairman Bradford mentioned, a recommendation to approve a professional services agreement with AECom to provide an update to the general plan, as well as the Plumas Lake specific plan. So earlier this year, your board approved the release of a solicitation for these services. AECom's proposal displayed exceptional familiarity with Yuba County and a tailored and pragmatic approach to long-range planning. AECom, which authored the county's current general plan, demonstrated a clear understanding that only a moderate update was needed to the general plan, while a comprehensive update is much needed for the Plumas Lake specific plan, which was created in 1993. Their standout proposal also reflected deep insight into our Yuba County priorities, including a pro-development and business culture. The subcontractors identified in this proposal are Fair and Piers, as well as Wood Rogers, and they have expressed extensive regional experience and have worked on numerous Yuba County projects, SACOG projects, et cetera, throughout the region. They're very familiar with our county, and that is extremely important because it lessens the administrative cost for the contracts, so it spends less time getting those contractors or subcontractors kind of up to speed on our projects and more time for them to actually invest in the deliverables that we're asking for. So our staff intends, upon your approval, to kick off this project at the very beginning of October with a kickoff meeting and a community tour with the consultants. Then we will finalize the community engagement plan, which will include approximately 12 public workshops, 2 in each district, plus an additional 2 in Plumas Lake that will hyper-focus on the Plumas Lake specific plan. It will include 6 pop-up engagement events, which are basically the consultants and or staff going out into the community and kind of meeting the residents where they are, at tabling at events like Peach Festival or different block parties, things like that. As well as a bilingual website and additional online mediums, really just trying to operationalize a variety of mediums so that people can come in person, they can participate online, multiple languages, trying to really meet the people where they're at and format it in a way that meets individual preferred methods of communication as well as individual schedules. So with again, additional guidance from your board, we will develop 2 advisory committees, 1 for each plan, and throughout the process host numerous workshops with these committees, the advisory committees, planning commission, as well as your board, which will be spread out over the lifespan of the 24-month project so that we can gain initial input as well as kind of fact check and gut check where we're at. And then move on to additional drafting, and then eventually it will come all the way back to your board for final review and approval. So the culmination of these reports, analysis, community input, and your leadership will be developed into these final documents, which we will, again, review in depth together before final adoption. A few key elements of this project is that the general plan will include the update to the general plan will include a new state mandated element, which is titled environmental justice, an update to our housing element, as well as an update to the circulation element, which does not currently include many of our CITIA projects in our general plan, which is incredibly important. So those are some of the updates to the general plan, as well as I mentioned, a comprehensive update to the Plumas Lake specific plan, which, as many of our planning practitioners can tell you, is a little bit difficult to work through. And it will be great to connect with the community and your leadership to figure out really where do we want to drive that community moving forward. And if there are not any, I'm happy to take any specific questions, as well as I have Matthew Gherkin here in the audience with us with AECom. If there's any additional questions I can answer for your board.
Through the chair. Environmental justice?
Yes, sir.
Can you define that term?
Yes, I'm happy to. So environmental justice is a state required mandate, one of the elements that we're now required to include. And in layman's terms, I would consider that a way to safeguard that we are not solely investing in infrastructure, namely like highways or other elements that make communities more difficult to navigate and move through your community solely in impoverished areas because the land is easier to obtain in those areas. Again, I'm happy to defer to Matthew if you have any more eloquent ways of articulating that, but that is my interpretation of environmental justice.
It's just it's a cloudy term.
Yes, sir.
And anytime the state gets a way to get involved in the cloudy areas, it worries me because they've got such a great track record. I would really kind of, before anything's implemented, run it by the board as to what it is defined as and what it actually is, and before we vote on it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Through the chair. I like the word circulation. That means that's like the opposite of traffic, right?
At least it's intended to be.
Yeah.
It depends on who you talk to.
To me, I think the most questions I get answered, or I have to get answered, are what are we doing about traffic, and why are we building 10,000 more homes? And I have the answers. I get the answers to the people, and but it'll be nice to have a good reflection on that Plumas Lake specific plan where we're like, hey, we've been asking as we renew these maps, when are we going to add something more than housing? So happy to hear we're doing that, or you guys are pushing all that stuff forward. I just definitely want to, when it comes time to have my community engagement, I'd like to be a part of it. And I'd like to get the right people to show up so it's not an echo chamber of what we're used to hearing. We want to do what's right for the next 30 years and improve that circulation. So thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor House.
I can't make my speaker work. You can hear me, right?
I can hear you, yes, sir.
So absolutely on circulation, anything that's going to improve that is a great thing. I just want to clarify, if we don't do this plan, we will not be receiving grants because we're missing state required components. And so this plan is a requirement for us to move forward with getting more funding from state and federal sources. Is that accurate?
Yes. Do you have any additional comments you would like to add?
I have no mic either. So yes, that is correct. We need to have our general plan needs to be consistent.
I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, couple comments from me as well. Sounds like I do have a mic, even though I don't have a light, so that's good. First of all, I'm really excited about both of these efforts. As you indicated, the Plumas Lake specific plan, and those comments were also shared by Supervisor House. An update to that, a comprehensive update, is well overdue. My constituents are going to be very excited about that. I'm also happy to see that we're working hard to keep our general plan up to date. And not let it get too far behind. And so by doing that, we can do a smaller update, right, as opposed to comprehensive. And I'm also excited about the extensive public outreach that's part of this. That's super important. And I'm glad we're going out into the community to do that. And I'm glad we're providing lots of options for people to either come to meetings or provide their input online. I think that's going to be critical for both of those efforts. And I'm also excited that we have a firm that has a lot of experience in Yuba County. And so that helps a lot. And so anyway, just my comments, and couldn't be more excited about this particular item today. So thank you to the Planning Department and Community Development for working hard the last few years to get this moving forward.
My pleasure.
So any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
I'd move to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, thank you. Okay, next up is 476, 2025, Community Development and Services, adopt resolution authorizing closeout of the Community Development Block Grant Program Income First Time Homebuyer Program and submit closeout certification to the California Department of Housing and Community Development and return applicable funds to the County of Yuba Program Income Fund for funds provided under the CDBG Standard Agreement as listed. Morning, Ian.
Good morning, board members. Ian Scott, CDSA Project Manager, here to discuss the closeout of the Community Development Block Grant funded First-Time Homebuyer Program. Staff received interest from local residents interested in participating in the program, which resulted in staff beginning the income qualification process for 7 people. Of these, 4 were eventually approved. Unfortunately, none of them were able to provide the federal, state, both required 50% down payment match that would have been required to allow them to use the program successfully. The CDBG program has these requirements that don't allow any such type of program to provide more than 50% of the lender required down payment. Putting this into perspective against current market conditions in the housing space, we all know what single-family homes are going for these days, but the maximum yearly income the program would allow for a Yuba County resident is $53,750 for a one-person household, and up to $76,750 for a 4-person household. Just to contrast this with a program at the state level that's been a little bit more successful, the state-funded Cal HFA program uses the moderate income threshold, which within Yuba County in the current funding year is for one person $83,100 and up to $118,700 for a 4-person household. Additionally, lenders and banks also have their own strict income requirements to fund conventional mortgage loans. Unfortunately, with the CDBG funded first-time homebuyer program we're discussing today, there really isn't great alignment between the CDBG income requirements, which are incredibly low at their maximums to participate, as well as the income requirements for a conventional mortgage loan. As the CDBG program requirements do not align well with the conventional mortgage loan requirements, in addition to the requirement for home buyers to come up with 50% of the lender required down payment, staff does not recommend running this type of program in the future, at least using this funding source. As a result of grant closeout, all funds for the first-time homebuyer program will be returned to the county's program income fund to be brought back before your board at a later date for a project that staff determines is viable when considering these fairly onerous CDBG grant requirements. And I'm here to answer any questions that your board has.
Questions or comments from board members?
Through the chair. So how much money did we see? I know you said you were returning all the grant money, but was there any expenditure on this at all?
The only expenditures that were incurred were staff time, as well as the money that was needed to pay for third-party verification of documents for people that we were income qualifying for the program.
Okay. And is there something that we could do proactively in the future, like mid-program, to kind of, when we see this as a loser and failing, that we could do to bring it back ahead of time to just not put so much staff time and effort into it, maybe start using that time to research additional things like maybe funding an ADU program even further than what we already do?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. This grant is a part of a series of grants where, for lack of better terminology, a couple housing managers ago, they'd gone out and got a bunch of these grants from the federal government as well as state to administer them. And as part of our overhaul of all these programs, we are in the process of doing everything that we can to identify current low-hanging fruit to get our current programs closed out, firm up our requirements, and do what we can to ensure that we are bringing items before your board for the use of these funds in the future that staff believes with its current increased capacity now, will be able to land the plane on and have more successful programs.
Thank you, Ian. I just wanted to say that there's a great movement on supplying plans and things like that for ADUs or auxiliary dwelling units in our county, but I'd love to see some type of funding behind it too, because I think those people that they might be the ones with a match, they might have the 50% to be able to put forward toward improving, because it's an investment in their property and adding a housing unit in our county. So I just think we should look at that.
I hear you, Supervisor. And if there is a way that we can identify a way to use these program income funds for a program like that in the future, I'm sure staff could see what alignment there may be with the requirements for that. We are in the process of from a grant compliance and firming us up to ensure that we have strong response to auditing, as we did successfully in our most recent audit. We're looking at everything from that lens right now and ensuring that what we do bring to your board moving forward in future programs that we go out to launch, we'll be able to have successful programs for your board.
Thank you.
Through the chair. RCRC has home financing arm, Gold State, and we looked into possibility of using them for VA loans, which are, we have a big military base out there, and even though they're in the military, they still qualify for a VA home loan. And I'd like to know if we've even explored that with the RCRC, because see, these block grants really have been a pain every year that I've ever seen them. So just a thought.
I hear you. I did speak to a Peter Tran at RCRC, who runs a lot of their down payment assistance programs, in an effort to ensure that the county would be able to have a successful program here. And it was in those conversations where I had realized that we had a pretty decent problem on our hands, because the individual that runs a lot of those programs for RCRC was the one who informed me that CDBG is not a very good source of funds for this type of program.
Yep. You found that out too.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. If any public comment on this item? Okay.
Second.
Okay, for a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, motion passes. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you all.
Next up, we have Community Development and Services, approved professional services agreement with Mark Thomas and Company for the East Linda Gateway Lyndhurst Corridor Revitalization Project. Morning, Sam.
Good morning to the board. Sam Button, Public Works. This item is an award for an agreement with Mark Thomas for the design of our East Linda Gateway Lyndhurst Corridor Revitalization Project. The project is listed in Yuba County's strategic plan and will transform the corridor into a welcoming entry point into Linda. We've previously been before the board for this project to execute a subrecipient agreement with SACOG, as this project was part of a Reconnecting Communities grant where we received $3 million $3 million in federal dollars. In June, Public Works staff released a request for proposals and received 4 proposals in August. Mark Thomas was ultimately selected and recommended. This is another major milestone in getting the project closer to construction ready and will allow the design to begin. The limits are from Earl Road at the south to State Route 70 at the north. Proposed improvements include landscaping, local artwork, sidewalks, transit and traffic improvements, transit and traffic and drainage improvements, And I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Questions or comments from board members? Okay, I guess I would just say this is also a very exciting project. I mean, that's our primary commercial corridor in the county, and I know we've been doing a lot to improve it, and so it's exciting to see this move forward.
Yeah. Thank you through the chair. Yes, major milestone to get started on this. Super excited. We're hoping it should be designed sometime around beginning of 2027. And so we're currently looking for construction funds as well. So staff and everybody throughout the department is very excited for this project.
So any public comment on this item? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay. First and second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great. Thank you. Next up is item 465, 2025, Community Development and Services, adopt resolution authorizing closeout of the CDBG block grant as listed, round 2 of Vulnerability Population Food Delivery Program, request to disencumber unused funds and authorize the Community Development and Services Agency Director or their designee to execute and deliver the closeout documents to the California Department of Housing and Community Development. Welcome back, Ian.
Hello again. Ian Scott once again with CDSA to discuss the closeout of the COVID food delivery program. For this program, staff had initially received board approval for the use of $150,000 in grant funding under the CARES Act. For anyone that doesn't know, the CARES Act was a lot of money that was passed by the federal government during COVID era for many, many different things. In this local implementation, it was to provide a homebound home delivery program. This program resulted in 138 recipients being provided weekly deliveries of 2 pre-made meals by the Yuba-Sutter Gleaners Food Bank. This program received several extensions, resulting in it running for a total of 60 weeks. This item is coming before your board today as current staff were unaware that this grant had not yet been closed out by previously departing housing staff, and I'm here to answer any questions that you have.
Through the chair, are there any more programs we can close out along with this?
More will be coming to your board soon.
Great.
Okay. Any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, motion passes. Awesome. Thank you, Ian.
all.
Okay, next up is Community Development and Services, adopt resolution authorizing hire of a retired annuitant at an index rate of 1.30 for the senior GIS technician position within the exception 100-day waiting period pursuant to the government code listed. Morning, Jason.
Good morning, Chairman Bradford and other members of the board. As excited as I was earlier to stand up and talk about a hangar lease agreement, I am really excited and don't want to overshadow the lease agreement to talk about hiring Kathy Gregg back as a retired annuitant.
Oh, wow.
The type of work is challenging. It has historically been a challenge to find skilled GIS technicians. And her willingness to come back speaks volumes of the culture and the camaraderie that exists at Yuba County. We're excited to have her. And I am here in front of you now to answer any questions that you might have on this topic.
You're the chair. I don't know if my microphone's working. Since you brought it up, do I need to fly my Cub back to the ranch?
Yeah, we denied it.
I'll leave that to your chair to fully disclose or county council, but I believe that you're okay.
Okay.
I think you're good.
And for the record, my Cub has a radio.
So is she back in the audience?
Can we get a sticker on? No, I'm kidding. We need to table that. But back to Kathy Gregg. Seriously, I am thrilled to have her come back and be a part of the team. We have been able to grow the team for GIS work. Her return will bring 25 years of knowledge that has been etched on the walls of caves, more or less, and be able to start sharing that with this new revitalized GIS team within Yuba County. So once again, any other questions relevant to bringing Kathy Gregg back?
Yeah, I have one. Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, the knowledge you're going to bring back is great, but it will have no effect on her retirement or anything because it says here we're bringing her back within the 180-day waiting period.
No, because there is an exception granted or allowed by CalPERS.
Okay.
We are following that exception to the letter of the law by coming before this board and requesting the chair to sign and execute the resolution that will bring her back under the umbrella, allowing her to return earlier than the 180 days.
Okay. Who's going to hold a party for her? I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, is there any public comment on this item? Okay. Seeing none, we've got a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you.
Thank you, board.
Next up is item 412, 2025, Community Development and Services. Approve agreements with Coastland Civil Engineering LLP, Dewberry Engineering Incorporated, and Knight CM Group for on-call construction management services for a 3-year term. So, Sam?
Sam Button, Public Works. On June 12th, Public Works staff released a request for qualifications for construction management services. In July, we received proposals from 10 qualified consultants. Staff is recommending proceeding approving agreements with Coastland Civil Engineering, Dewberry, and Knight CM Group. This allows staff to release many requests for proposals for the 3 selected consultants and issue task orders when construction management services are needed. This tends to work really well for construction projects that are less than about $10 million and shaves months out of the process. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay, seeing no questions, any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion?
So moved.
No second.
Okay, got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, thank you. Next up, item 507, 2025, Community Development and Services authorized the approval of the sponsorship request for the Terra Madre Farm to Fork Dinner and the National Pumpkin Way Off from the Economic Development County Event Sponsorship Budget. Morning, Ashley.
I have a short presentation. Perfect. Thank you. Good morning, Chair Bradford and members of the board. My name is Ashley Potocznik. I'm with your Community Development Department. I'm the Business Engagement Manager in Economic Development. And as mentioned, today we'll be talking about community sponsorships. So before we talk about the specific events, I just want to ground this in our economic development pillars that we've established, that I've mentioned to you many times, so you're very familiar with these, I'd imagine, and kind of align where these community sponsorships and community events fall within our economic development pillars, which it could be identified in several, but we're specifically highlighting how this is a business expansion and retention effort by really investing in the community, the farmers in our community, the small businesses in our community by participating in these events. So there are 2 specific events that I am bringing before you today for a sponsorship request. The first is the Farm to Fork Feast dinner that's hosted this Saturday, September 27th in downtown Marysville. This event is a unique cultural celebration bringing into town a award-winning chef, Chef Yia Vang, and really highlighting the Hmong American community here in Yuba County. The cost for the sponsorship is $2,000. That's for 2 tables at the cultivator level. And the intent is to fill those seats with supervisors who are interested in attending, as well as, and most importantly, farmers in the community who may not otherwise be able to attend the event, as well as business owners who maybe weren't able to attend. And then some staff members, particularly in Public Works, who are working on the Friendship Park project with the Hmong American organization. And they'll also have representatives there as well. The second event is on the exact same day, September 27th. It's a very busy day. This is the National Pumpkin Way Off event that's hosted out at Bishop's Pumpkin Farm. And based on previous board direction, we have sponsored this event at the gold level sponsorship this year. That's a $10,000 sponsorship. It includes participation in the VIP reception on Friday evening, as well as the awards dinner on Saturday. With the number of events that evening, a lot of supervisors are not able to attend this specific event. However, I'm working hard with businesses in the area who are either related to this type of event or maybe wouldn't otherwise be able to attend, to fill the table with those businesses and potentially some staff members, but primarily the business community. And then several of you supervisors will be attending the reception on Friday. So today I am coming forward with a request to authorize approval of these 2 sponsorship events for Saturday, September 27th, the Terra Madre Farm to Fork Dinner, as well as the National Pumpkin Way Off. And I'll just note that these, currently in our economic development budget, we have a budget amount to cover these costs. So these are in line with our budget. I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, through the chair. Both of them, the events I think are very important. The first one, the Farm to Fork, is actually, maybe, who do you know most about that, Rennick?
Yeah.
Can you speak more about it? Because it's not just the local Hmong community.
So it's actually a part of a worldwide food festival focused on slow food, which is like healthy, local grown food that we eat in our communities. And the national or worldwide, it's hosted, I think, in Italy every other year. And then the United States partner is Sacramento. So you'll hear advertising of the Tierra Madre Food Festival throughout all sorts of different media, whether it's radio, TV, whatever. You'll hear and see a lot of advertising for that food festival, and this is just a small piece of that. So there's actually people being bussed into our county from outside the county to enjoy the experience, and they don't know about the Hmong refugees that live in Yuba County, and a lot of our residents don't. So it's huge that we get to push that forward and deliver that message to people that we have this other group of people that fall into that farmer category in Yuba County. So it'll be a great event and great for getting people into the city and county.
And I wanted to add to that too. Rennick is going to be there but working because he has the 4-H kids that he is overseeing working there as well. And I wanted to thank you, Ashley. So I was asked by Stephen Damback if I could get walnuts. Well, I just started my harvest and I haven't shipped any yet to get walnuts back from the processor. So I called Sarb Joel, who's a local farmer in Rennick's district, actually one of his constituents, and he graciously donated a 25-pound box of walnuts for the dinner, and we're going to treat him to come into the dinner. So thank you for that. And then I wanted to follow up with the Bishop's Pumpkin Farm thing, just to let everybody know this isn't supporting one business in our community. As a matter of fact, it's an event that's held at the Bishop's Pumpkin Farm. Bishop's Pumpkin Farm doesn't do the event or make money from the event or anything. As a matter of fact, they also sponsor at that level as well, and it brings people in from all around the United States and probably beyond for this National Pumpkin Way Off. So I think it's important that we sponsor both of them. Those are my comments.
And through the chair, I do have one additional comment. I'd like you to look into Scarysville to see if there's any way we can partner with them. That's the candy giveaway that they do in Marysville each year. I know HHS is doing one in Linda, but I like to see us help wherever we can. So,
great. Any public comment on this item? Move to approve.
Wait a minute.
Is there one?
But we do have a motion on the table. So is there a second? Before we,
Yes, sir.
there's a second.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is Rich Everly, Auditor Controller. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I have a couple of items I want to discuss or bring to the board's attention. I think that supporting community events is a wonderful opportunity, and I appreciate Ashley's presentation and the recommendation that she asked for at the end, that the board find a public interest in doing these things. One of the things, a couple of things I want to bring to the attention of the board is I'm proposing working with the CAO's office to bring forth a policy to address these kind of items in the future. And in my research to develop this policy, there's some items that I think that the board ought to be aware of. Some of the requirements for in other districts, cities, counties across the state and across the nation that have identified purposes for sponsorships using public funds. And then the items are provide clear public benefit to county residents, be hosted by a legally recognized organization, occur within county boundaries, be consistent with county strategic goals, and I think all of those are. Not promote political campaigns, religious proselyting, or discriminatory content, which it does not. But the one that I think is really interesting is the criteria that says be open and accessible to the public. So the first one, the Farm to Fork event, while I think it's an amazing event, I would personally like to attend myself. However, there's an issue here where it's not open to the public. So basically what happens is the county is allocating public resources to events where the public cannot attend, public itself cannot attend. And so for the Tierra Madre event in Sacramento, with which this event is associated, is free and open to the public. And so the optics are interesting there where the county is using public resources to promote events that the general public could not attend. And so that's one of the reasons why I requested that these items come before the board. Additionally, there's the optics of, same type of optics with the Bishop's Pumpkin Farm, where we spend $10,000 to buy 8 seats at a table is one of the optics that could be interpreted from this event. While as And this is also open to the public. It's free admission, free parking, that kind of thing out of the pumpkin farm. But there's a couple of items that I think the board needs to be aware of, and I do appreciate the request for an expression of public interest, is that we're buying seats for business owners and community members who could not otherwise attend. And one of the things that the public might be interested in is understanding the criteria used to evaluate who should and should not attend. So we're using public resources to decide to provide tickets to an event that, again, why are we subsidizing these business owners or these community members and not other ones? So I think I appreciate the recommendation, which is to declare this a public interest for using public funds for these resources. My intent for bringing this here is just to provide optics and an understanding that we're deciding to use public resources in this way. And so again, I'll entertain any questions or any other comments that you might have. But again, this is my purpose in bringing it forth before the board.
Through the chair, County Council. You have an opinion?
If your board would like this research by county council, we'll be happy to do that, but this is basically the first I'm hearing about this concern.
Okay. I suggest we pass the measure and.
Supervisor House has a comment.
Through the chair. I'd just like to point out that I think all of these events are open to the public if you want to buy a ticket, right? It just, so it's not like it's a private held behind closed doors, only the who's who can go. Any person in our county could buy a ticket just like any other person could, just from my clarification. But yeah, I'm still in favor of the measure.
No, like I said, I think that interestingly enough, my assistant, when I had discussions with her about this, expressed the same thought. And just right now, it's a definition of what open to the public is. And again, referencing the Terra Madre event, free attendance, free to attend, free admission, that kind of thing. And the Bishop's Pumpkin Farm also is free admission, free parking. You don't have to pay anything to attend the event. But the dinner that we're providing sponsorships for the Farm to Fork event, it does require money to participate.
Yeah, I think those you might research those rules a little bit, or those recommendations a little further, because I do think that it has to do with the fact that you'd hold a banquet where the public is not allowed to attend, and you would be funding something like that.
Again, and I appreciate that, and I fully understand. Which is again, the clarification at this point would come from the board's decision at this point.
I move that we approve this.
You already have a motion.
We already have a motion and a second, right?
Yep.
And
May I please clarify that the motion includes those findings that were in the staff's recommendation?
Yes.
And the second, I'm sure, does as well.
Yes.
Okay. So with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed?
No.
Great. Thank you. Motion passes. Next up is ordinances and public hearings. If you challenge in court the action or decision of the Yuba County Board of Supervisors regarding a zoning, planning, land use, or environmental protection matter made at any hearing described in this notice, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at such hearing or in written correspondence delivered to the Yuba County Supervisors at or prior to such hearing. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per individual or group. We have one ordinance in public hearing, which is 484, 2025, Community Development Services. Ordinance, hold public hearing, and waive second reading, and adopt the ordinance amending the listed section and chapter of the Yuba County Ordinance Code regarding speed limits on the Port Road.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Brian Michelson, Deputy Director of Public Works Engineering. I'm here today to finalize the adoption of the ordinance to set the speed limits along the Port Road for 7 segments of roadway. Currently, the prima facie speed limit on that roadway is 55 miles per hour. The adoption of this ordinance will reduce those speeds to a safe, reasonable, and enforceable speed limit. That being said, I am recommending the adoption of this, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from board members? Any public comment?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
So you open and close the public hearing.
Oh, thank you. I will make sure that the public hearing is open, and we'll ask once again if there's any public comment on the item. And there's none, so I will close the public hearing, and we do have a motion and a second. So a roll call vote, please, Mary.
Supervisor Vasquez?
Yes.
Supervisor House?
Yes.
Supervisor Fleur?
Yes.
Supervisor Bradford?
Yes.
Supervisor Messick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There are 2 correspondence items as listed on the agenda. And next, we will move to board and staff member reports. Supervisor Vasquez?
Okay, first, I'd like to recommend that we adjourn in memory of Mr. Charlie Kirk. And we have a signature, like all five, to sign. And the 19th, I went to the PWMA ceremony at Beale, and it was quite interesting. What people don't realize is the PWMA stands for Prisoner of War Missing in Action, and I'm frustrated sometimes by the Children's Council's use of the Palm-BOC on that. This cost people their lives, and I'm the only veteran on the board, but it's prisoner of war missing in action, and I'll attend the Children's Council as soon as they learn to pronounce it properly. And let's see, the 27th, they're having a fire chief award dinner at the VFW in Olivehurst from 5 to 7. If you'd like to attend, tickets are $25. That's it.
Supervisor House. All right. Last week I had the awesome experience at the Marysville Stampede. It was pretty huge, bringing all those people back into the city for an event that kind of joined our community together after some major loss last week. Friday night, I just want to thank the Sheriff's Department and Probation for putting on an event at the Yuba Gardens Middle School. They had an event that they're going to start doing once a month on Friday evenings from 5 till 9. They expected to have 100 students. They had 400 MJUSD students show up, and they, listened to music, played basketball, had food trucks, all sorts of stuff. It was House of Unity and Probation and a couple other sponsors. It was just great. And then Mike Leahy, former supervisor, was the DJ for that event, so that was pretty great. I also attended the Yuba County Career Preparatory Charter 30th anniversary celebration, presented them a proclamation for their dedication to our at-risk youth in the community. I was able to speak at the Bridging Hope Suicide Prevention Walk on Saturday, and also attended the Yuba County Foothills Water and Food Festival, which my kids, they had a lot of fun. They didn't think they were going to have fun. They complained the whole way up, and then they learned about quails. They learned about crocheting. There was lots of craft beers and wines and things like that on display for me. And it was a great event. And we hit on Farm to Fork on Saturday. I think the event sold out, but I just want to thank anybody who is supporting that event. It's very important to our community to drive people into our county, not just have the who's who show up all the time. So this regional event's big for our county. And then Friday night, I'll be in attendance at the Pumpkin Way Off event, and I'll let you know how that goes.
Great.
Thank you. Supervisor Pure.
We had cleanup day on last Saturday. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Jason. He showed up at 8 a.m. in the morning, putting out signs, directing traffic, doing all the extra work. We had a couple guys from Public Works as well. So I wanted to appreciate the staff's support for that. Lots of garbage got cleaned up. I appreciated Ian's explanation of the home down payment program's failure. It was a razor thin margin where, because of the cost of houses in California versus the income, they didn't qualify. And I didn't understand that was the component that had made that program fail. So I really did appreciate that explanation. And then I also appreciated Mr. Eberle's comments in that we do have a responsibility for taxpayers' money, and we should be very careful in how that is distributed. I would like to see that desire and responsibility be more contagious.
Supervisor Messick.
I attended RCRC last week with Supervisor Bradford, and it was a great event. And I'll let you tell them how much our basket raised and get to that. I will be attending the Farm to Fork dinner. I wasn't going to attend. I will be attending it now Friday, and then going up to Hogs and Hulas, or Saturday. Hogs and Hulas is also Saturday night up in my district. And Supervisor House, I'd really like to thank you for going up to the
Food and Water Festival. I started Walnut Harvest, and there was absolutely no way. If you guys think I look tired and wait a couple more weeks, I'm really going to be worn out. So trying to hit everything and still keep up with harvest is going to be demanding, but I appreciate you going up there. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Mary, anything?
Nothing, thank you.
Council?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. Kevin?
Well, oh, I have a microphone, just no light. Perfect. So, and they were both touched on in the board meeting today, but we do have a vacancy on the Measure K committee. So I'd definitely encourage the supervisors to solicit some folks to apply for that, because it would be nice to have all 5 members on there. We really have, this is an opportune time to try and find somebody to put on the committee, bring them up to speed, and they really meet in earnest at the beginning of each calendar year and start preparing for the report that's presented to the board each September. The other item, and Richard Eberly brought this up, he's proposed a sponsorship policy to my office. We started taking a look at it. One thing I would like to get board input on is the amount of board discretion. The policy he proposed was pretty narrowly written as far as what the board would be allowed to sponsor. And I understand that from a taxpayer protection standpoint, but at the same time, allowing the board to be able to make a finding as to why they're investing public dollars, maybe that's something where we should make sure the board has that discretion. So I'm not sure if it's something where the board members would be interested in having an ad hoc that would meet with my office and the Auditor Controller's office to discuss a sponsorship policy, or would you prefer to not have a sponsorship policy? Just trying to get a little bit of guidance on that.
I think an ad hoc would be called for.
My comment would be, Kevin, we went through this last year at the water agency. So instead of reinventing the wheel, why don't you get a hold of council out there and see, what we did over there, because we ran into these same issues.
Yes, and I have taken a look at the water agency's sponsorship policy. There's a bit of delegation with the water agency's policy. It delegates the general manager for some discretion there. Mm-hmm. So that could be an avenue that the board could take, or you could keep it more at the board level.
I do think it's important to have a policy. I also think it's important to have board discretion. So that would be my feedback. And I'm not opposed to an ad hoc if there are.
I'd volunteer to be on the ad hoc.
Okay.
I would volunteer to be on that.
Okay. Is Supervisor Fuhr at all interested in being on the ad hoc?
Well, there's only space for 2, so.
Okay. So I will, as the chair, I will appoint Supervisors Vasquez and House to be on the ad hoc to work with you. So thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all I had.
Okay. Got a few items as mentioned by Supervisor Messick. He and I were at RCRC this week. I do not remember exactly how much our basket brought in, but it was several $1,000s. So do you remember? It was 4? Wow. I think that's a record for our county basket by a pretty large amount. So thank you to staff and all of our local businesses that contributed to that. The total basket auction raised just under $110,000 for charities in Modoc County. All the proceeds from that auction go to the county of the chair, which this year is Modoc. So anyway, very exciting. Maybe some future year we'll have a chair from Yuba County, and then our charities will benefit from those from that basket auction. So next, the SACOG board meeting was this last Thursday, and one of the things they've been doing the last 3 years is having their board meetings instead of in downtown Sacramento 3 times a year. They have their board meetings out in one of the 6 counties. And so they do three a year, 3 1 year, and then the other 3 the next year. And so we were in year 1, and Yuba County was again in year 3. So last 2 years ago, it was hosted in Linda, and with a tour in Marysville. This time it was hosted at Bishop's Pumpkin Farm with a tour of Beale Air Force Base beforehand. So it was hosted here in Yuba County. It was predominantly hosted by the city of Wheatland and Bishops. But I do appreciate community development being there as well. And it was great to get the leaders from the rest of the Sacramento region, council members and supervisors out to Bishop's Pumpkin Farm to have a meeting in the barn. And so it was very enjoyable. We could not convince anyone to go down the slide. Mayor of Wheatland really tried to convince the board at the end of the meeting to go down the slide with her. And I think everyone was in a hurry to get on with their day. And so no one did that, but it was good. And then finally, we've already touched on it, but the Farm to Fork Dinner and the National Pumpkin Weigh-Off, two really important events for our community this coming weekend. I'll be at the Farm to Fork reception on Friday night, as well as the actual event for a while on Saturday, since those are in my district. And then I'm excited to go to the Farm to Fork Dinner in Marysville on Saturday night. Finally, this last weekend in Plumas Lake, which is why I was not able to go to the Bridging Hope event. We had the kickoff for the Plumas Lake, well, it's Plumas Lake and Beyond NFL Flag Football League that is hosted by a community member down there in Plumas Lake. They had 300 participants in the league this year, so this is the third year. It's grown a lot every year. They have their primary fundraiser coming up on October 4th, and it is an Oktoberfest celebration in Plumas Lake. Very similar event to the block party. They claim it's the largest Oktoberfest in Yuba-Sutter. So I think this is the third or fourth annual year. So it's from 3 to 7. If you're interested in going, I'll have my lederhosen on. You can come down, and they have a costume contest and great family event. And so anyway, I would just encourage anyone in the community and my fellow board members, if you're not doing anything on the evening of October 4th, consider coming to Plumas Lake and helping support the youth football down there. So with that, we have several closed session items, and next we will go into closed session.
Here, Supervisor Bradford?
Yeah.
Could I just add one more thing? So it got touched on briefly by Supervisor Vasquez, but that VFW hall is going to be celebrating our local firefighters, and it's a huge community event too on the 27th. So if you have family, it's a great family event. 10 and under are free. 10 and over are $25 for dinner. And so if you got a family of 4 kids and 2 adults, it could be a pretty cheap dinner. And then there's going to be karaoke, games, all sorts of other things going on, but they're going to be awarding our firefighters, and any firefighters that attend, they're also free. So if we could drum up some people to go to that would be awesome too. It'll be a great event.
Thank you, Supervisor House. Since it is somewhat on my way home after the Farm to Fork Dinner, I do plan to try to stop by there. So
you're going to have a 10-minute break?
A 10-minute break on the way home. Yeah, I don't know what time the Farm to Fork Dinner ends, but I understand the other event is expected to go fairly late. So hopefully there'll be time to do that. So after closed session, we will be recessing until 1:30, in which case we have cost accounting hearing as listed on the agenda. So with that, we will take let me look at my watch here. We'll take a 9-minute break. And we will start up right at 11 a.m. for closed session. So thanks.
Catch the new show tonight on Yuba-Sutter.live for your information with an update on the Marysville Ring Levee.
Tom Engler, MBK Engineers. Going back to 1986, we had the big 86 flood.
You'll learn the history of Yuba County's levee repairs, where the money's been coming from, where it's been spent, the current status of the levees around Marysville, what's left to be done bringing the city of 12,700 people 200-year flood protection, and why that's important for Marysville development. The Marysville Ring Levee Update. A portion of the Yuba Water Agency meeting from Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. On our new show, For Your Information, on Yuba-Sutter.live. Presented by Comfort Keepers of Yuba-Sutter and Nevada Counties.
Yuba-Sutter.live. It's the truth that comes through. It's the truth that comes through. Yuba-Sutter Alive. It's the truth that comes through.